Welcome back. It's great to see you. Sometimes in the spiritual game, you hear the phrase, letting God in, let God in, let God into your life. Today, I'm going to look at it from a different angle, letting God out, letting God out. Why do we need to let God in if every spiritual master says the kingdom of heaven is inside of you? Why do we have to let God in? Perhaps the challenge is to let God out. So I live in a place with a front garden now, and I've never taken such an interest. I'm certainly not an avid gardener, but I water my plants on occasion, which is a huge step up for a confirmed anti-gardener such as myself. And I like to water the plants. They seem to enjoy it. And to water the plants, well, I could do it a really painful way by using a water bucket, but I like the hose. My hose has an attachment on it, and it's just one of those things that I can screw it one way and the water flow completely stops. And I screw it the other way. If I open it fully, all the water comes shooting out in a blazing glory. So I seem to be able to squeeze the flow or to open the flow. The plants like it better when I open the flow. Now, I'm not the water. I'm not the water itself, but I seem to be the one who has the ability to either cut it off or to open it up. Now, what's interesting is the water is not really personally involved and probably really doesn't care. If I turn the hose off and close that valve, the water's got a bunch of other places to go in this house, and then in every other house on the block, and then everywhere else on the planet that water goes. Water's going to go to wherever there are people who need it and use it and want it and will open up to it and will let it out. Now, I'm convinced it's very much the same sort of thing with God and the God that's inside of us. For a lot of people, it's not necessarily letting God in. There's already plenty of God on the inside. There's a jam up, there's a repression, there are kinks in the hose that let only the smallest fraction of the water get out to do its watering, to do its refreshing, to do its, what water does in the garden. And everybody wrestles with this to some degree or the other. Even if you do get the thing open, there can be kinks in the hose. What are the kinks in the hose that could be slowing things up? Well, just the usual index of maladjustments, fear, jealousy, worry, dread, anger, hatred, all the things that would either impede or distort the water that's coming through the hose. But with enough diligent effort, day by day by day, when we get up in the morning, we let God out. We open the internal valve. We open it up a little bit more every single day. Then every single day, we can look and see what's coming out. Is it good? Is it sweet and pure water? It says somewhere in one of the scriptures, it says, the same fountain cannot spew both bitter and sweet water. So there's one nature of the water, the life force that moves through us. Again, it's we who shape it into the beautiful thing it can be, or the people who distort it into, spraying acid on the plants, I guess you might say, just to strain the metaphor a little more. So in this idea of being made in the image and likeness of God that we discussed yesterday, it's important that we let God out. And each and every one of us is an example of how much that's going on. Some people let very little out. Some people let a lot of it out. But we can't think that God is sending more to some people than to other people. That wouldn't be a God worth having. Each and every one of us is an individual valve or delimiter or expression of how much can come out. Think upon this throughout your day. And when you're feeling jammed up, when you're feeling like life could be more, when you feel like you're missing out, when you feel like, is this all there is? These are common human experiences. It's not that God's not coming in. It's that we're not letting it out. And one of the greatest prayers, I think, is saying, God, I pray to let you out. I pray to be a channel. Of course, St. Francis says it beautifully in his prayer, Lord, make me a channel of thy peace. Where there's hatred, may I bring love, and mentions several other qualities of how the God should come out rather than the way that we might shape it. The one thing about letting God out is that we can't do it on our own. Through our own thinking and actions and belief, the finite cannot control the infinite. So the humility of spirit and the willingness to say prayers such as, I let go, I surrender, I allow, I agree, I humble myself to let you out. Things to ponder. Do you have to agree with this? Of course not. Do you have to think about it now? Yes, you do. That's my job. Have a beautiful day, and we'll talk on it on the morrow. See you guys.